what price are we entering? What's your stop loss? And what price are you selling at?
Yeah, and I
And
mean
as you
that
can,
stuff's good, but it's only really good for like, well, actually, it's you need that every trade, right? You need like parameters, but a lot of
yes,
that, like if you're like swinging and like doing like what I'm starting to do now, which Tesla and like with the SPY, like we're betting, long term stuff. Kind of, it there's more variation, so you can't just be like, oh, if we don't hold 395, I was saying this earlier, if we don't hold 395, then I'm out. It went down to 393, but I wanted to see how it reacted at 390. I didn't want it, I didn't want it to go down to, if it definitely went down to 390, we're not holding 395. But
right,
but people will think like 394.98 means not holding 395. That's not the
right.
case. Case is
No,
how
you're
it
right.
reacts around 395. Are there a lot of buyers coming in around this level, around the area?
Oh, dude, you hit the nail on the head. Um, and then just to piggyback on what you just said, oh, I can't jump back in my Discord because I'm on the phone. Um, there was that one LLAP. Did you read the notes on that one? Got in at 14 cents this morning. Was that L? No, LHDX. That's what it was. Got in at 14 cents this morning, and I had put in the watch list. This is a pre-market trade. You know, trade it between 4 and 7 a.m. and then get out.
Yeah.
Well, I liked the action, and here's my point because I was like, okay, get out at 7 a.m. No matter where you're at, just
Right.
get out of it before it drops. But the chart and technical analysis showed that it was going to continue to move upward, and
Yeah.
using the order book, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm obviously not selling at 7 a.m. when it was only 32 cents. I'm going to hold it, and ended up uh, getting a 500+% return on it. But I had to hold it an extra 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that's where this is what the buying, they want the buy price, the selling price, and the stop loss. But you have to be able to call an audible. So then after I sold LHDX, I was like, okay, it looks like shorts are in control. If you're in it, I would get out of it. Well, shorts brought it down to 64 cents, and then it kept toggling back between 64 and 65 cents. And I'm like, shorts are no longer in control. They're covering at that figure right there, which means the stock is going to continue to go back up.
Right.
So and that there too. Okay, so I held it, and then I held it 2.5 extra hours, and then sold it. Told everyone to sell it, and literally it was like 3 minutes later. I was like,
Uh
"Holy
huh.
shit, bulls are back in control!" And then I'm like, "I'm getting back in."
Yeah.
So you're right. They unfortunately, I don't know how to convey the message for them to know. You call an audible, like we do it all the time. Oh,
Yeah.
this is a great trade. And then you're like, holy shit, 2 minutes later, and you're like, I'm down 20%. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and
that's
that's how
just,
fast the market moves.
yeah. I mean, that's just what you got to do. I mean, that's why risk management's important because I'm okay with being down that much, but some people aren't. They'll see that and they'll freak out and think, "Where did I go wrong?" But it's actually, if it's in the parameters, then it's like, okay, sometimes you'll lose an entire option contract, you'll bankrupt the whole thing. So it's not like,
Oh yeah,
but trading options is a little different. If you're trading stocks, like just normal shares, I feel like 20% might be a little bit too much unless you're doing like, you know, momentum. That's a little different, but
but we if you think about it though, but even then, it drops 20%, and you're like, okay, it's going to go back up. Say it reverses, to support your argument, and it goes back up. My take on it is, if you had a stop loss at 10%, you saved yourself 10% because it dropped down to 20%. And then
right.
you buy it back down at the low before it reverses and starts coming back up.
Yeah. That's why having like pre-marked support and resistance is so important, because then
Yeah.
you know if it's not holding this support, you know that there's a good chance it could go to that next same value support. Like within, if a stock's
Oh yeah.
trading at $5 and it breaks $5, it could go to like 4.75 or 4.50, and then okay, I want to put my stop loss at 4.90 or 4.87, because if it breaks 5, I can save myself that risk, because it's probably going to bounce at 4.75. If it doesn't bounce at 4.75, it could bounce at 4.50.
Right. And if you were still holding on to it, say it goes from 450 to 475, and then that's the run. So you lost money even though you were in the stock when it ran because you started off with a deficit.
Yeah.
That's when I say don't let a green go to red. That's that's a big portion of it right there. And that's, securing profits. And like you said though, options are different. I don't do a 10% stop loss on options.
Yeah.
I usually do a 20 or 25%.
It's hard because they open, and when options open after overnight, sometimes you're down like so much, so it's really hard to even just have a stop loss with options, because it can just I mean, unless you're day trading and scalping options, then you should use a stop loss. But sometimes, I mean, overnight stuff happens, and that's what's so risky about options.
Yeah, and then say bad news comes out overnight. You can't trade the option till 9:30 the next morning. But guess who gets to trade options at 7:30 in the morning? The market makers.
Yeah.
So by the time 9:30 hits, they've already sold all their contracts, and you're about to get your ass kicked. So it's not a level playground,
Right.
and I think that's the biggest thing that pisses me off. Because it's like I remember when I started trading, and we all had a silent set of rules that we followed. If the stock was running, you didn't go in and try to prevent it from running as a short. What you would do is wait till it reaches wherever it's going to go, and then the bulls would let loose, take their profit, and then you could short it going all the way back down. And so it was almost like we had manners for each other. It was like, okay, that one's running. And then, after the pandemic hit, now it's like every 30 seconds, it's like, oh shit, that just went up $1. Oh shit, that just dropped $2. And you're on the same stock and it's moving every 15 seconds. And you're like, what the hell is happening? The
Yeah.
market wasn't like that 6 years ago.
Really.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, the volatility that I see now versus when I first started trading, I love it
It's good.
because that's how we get paid. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I go back to the penny stocks. I don't I don't buy penny stocks because they're cheap and I could buy the float. I buy penny stocks because are you ever going to see Walmart do 100% move?
Nah, probably not.
You, you,
It
no, and
depends over
granted, their
what period
stock's
of
more
time,
expensive,
but yeah,
right?
probably not. What period of time you're looking for? Yeah.
And granted, 10% on a $300 stock is $30, that you're
Mm-hmm.
making off of each share of stock. However, when it's that expensive, how many people in the group have enough money to be able to play a stock like that and make it profitable? Like, sure,
Right.
you can buy one, you can buy five, you might be able to buy 10, maybe 20. But it's like, if you went into the less expensive stocks, you could buy 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. Like this morning, you get 10,000 shares of LHDX
Mm-hmm.
at 14 cents a share. Then I sold it at 75 cents.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
I,
insane.
that's why I do the penny stocks. And so we're gonna have two different mentalities when it because are you only doing options or are you going long at all? Or yeah, like swinging or anything?
No, it just depends. Like right now, I just take whatever. I mean, if I trade, I'll wait for pennies. But honestly, I'm really not too good at momentum right now. I feel like right now I'm good at swing, but that's just because of the market. When I'm bullish, I want to swing, but when I'm bearish, I'm usually scalping or or day trading because I like to think overall the market's gonna go up over time anyways. So overall, I want to be more time in long than more time in short. So usually when I'm short, I'm scalping or etc. But
Right.
over a long period of time, no, I'm definitely. I mean, if I'm going long, it's probably for a swing.
See, that makes sense. Now, I only did what you're doing right now.
Uh huh.
That is how I traded for the first 2 years.
Okay.
I only swings, and they weren't overnight swings. My swings back then, I'd be like, I only have to hold it for 3 months, not realizing what I was doing. And you could make money buying stocks and investing a swing overnight.
Yeah.
And then options. And so I literally just did anywhere from a 3 to 6 month swing on every stock I bought. And
Hmm.
then the options, I would go out as far as possible, not understanding that the money you're going to make is the most. If you want to maximize an option, you buy it a week or less out because
Right.
people are out there who want to buy those shares. And that was a hard concept for me to catch. I'm like, oh, surely Coke is going to hit $5 a share. I bought a 2 year option on it. Well, they did a split, and then the option is useless. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But your method of how you're trading right now, that is what got me into the market and got me stable enough to make the decision to stop working and just trade full time. So
Right.
you're onto something.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense though. I mean, because businesses aren't
Yes.
in the business to fail. I've heard that before. So that's why overall the market is supposed to go up over time. So if
Yes.
you're playing the downside, it's not very smart to be long-term betting against any business unless unless you really have a good hunch on a business that is plateaued and is now failing, you know.
Well, and let me ask you, when shorts are going into these companies and they're purposely driving the price down. So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, they don't give a shit about what happens in the collateral damage. Drug doesn't come to the market for Alzheimer's because the company didn't have any money because the shorts took it all.
Mhm.
Like I have an issue with the way shorts talk in the chat rooms because they all seem to be the same person. They're like, "Bitch, I'm king. I run this. Don't you know how to read a chart?" And it's like, bro, are we looking at the same chart? Because mine says it's gonna run.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I,
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen that before. And I mean, I've heard honestly, there's these people that I follow on Twitter and as soon as they say to short, I buy because that's usually when they're wrong. And that's usually when they're wrong. When they get confident enough to say short it. Now I'm thinking, okay, now that you see confirmation, that's when I want to have my conviction. So I'll do it then.
dude, that is hilarious.
But it's true. Like the other dude was just talking about like the 200 EMA on the SPY on Twitter, and he was saying, "Oh, we breeze through the 5, we breeze through the 10, we breeze through the 20, we just breeze through the 50. Watch how we breeze through the 20 to watch how we breeze through the 200 now." I said, "All right, bro. I'm going."
Yeah.
There's no way. All right. You just oh, so. But
And
I
then
mean, but he was saying this as SPY was holding 395 on Friday. So I was actually like he was like my he was my confirmation cuz I was like, "Dang, this dude is actually he really thinks that it's going to keep going down like this." I mean, there's we broke the trend. There's buyers at a key level, and it's holding. I'm probably want to go long now. So then I see the shorts, getting all excited, like, oh, So all right, it's time to bet against it, I guess. And honestly, I don't really see that on Tesla right now, which is why I'm scared. Why I'm like being iffy on the trades. I'm not willing to hold these puts for too long, because even though now we are technically on some kind of backside of a move, it is retesting. It's retesting the trend. So I'm not really if anything, now is the time to go short, but because we're still in that like distribution zone, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I want to see, like, the majority of the volume is at the bottom of that range on Tesla. So, and I don't mean the bottom of the range, meaning the accumulation and the distribution. If you go into the daily and you see around $100 where it was being accumulated, and now at this $200 zone where it's being distributed, or quote unquote distributed. That's just, what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's accumulation or still distribution. It's probably a mixture of both, right? But the majority of the volume is at the bottom of that range, at the bottom of that distribution range. So the majority of the volume is at 190 instead of the top of the range at 215. But the range is from 190 to 215, so it's ranging around that 200 zone. So, but why is the majority of the volume at the bottom of the range instead of the top of the range? Probably because it's being held up. That's they want to buy low because it probably is going to make another high. That's just what I think.
Yep.
So I'm really, really a head and shoulders would be nice if I can see a head and shoulders on Tesla. I could go up to like 225 or something like that, or something around that area. I don't know. It make a new high and then come down. Then I might get in for another short, but I just don't know. I mean, I don't really want to hold a bet against it right now if it's not following everything to the T. Like, it broke the trend. I was like, I'm gonna take the short because it might sharply sell off and not retest. Didn't do that. It's retested. Okay, I'm just gonna cut the short. So it's iffy. Tesla's iffy right now, but
Hey, that's what exactly what you just said about all of that. It's perfect. Like,
right.
it shows anybody who knows how to trade when you're talking to them, you know how to trade.
Right.
So you're looking at all the right things, which is awesome.
Well, thanks, sir. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Now we just need to get you rich.
Well, I mean, the market's bouncing, so I just don't see. The
I
only thing I can see about Tesla is if on the red days that the market, or I mean the S&P 500, on the red days that the S&P 500 has, that Tesla has even bigger red days. And then on the green days, Tesla has even smaller green days. That's just what I can see that would eventually push Tesla down. But as of right now, I mean, it was kind of like an overreaction to the downside, down to that 100, the $100 zone. So I'm almost expecting now it's definitely going to overreact while it's going back up. And whether or not this is an overreaction, I don't know. I feel like an overreaction would be like 250 or 300, but it's just hard to tell. I mean, I have no clue.
Well, the news, I got an alert at 2 in the morning that their sales for some Tesla model, I don't even remember what the model was, but they got twice as many sales orders in than they had projected. And so they dropped that. And I was like, well, most people aren't up at 2 in the morning. So who's going to read the news,
Yeah.
But I'm sure anybody who follows Tesla will go back in there and then they would have seen it. So I expected a 5 to 7% run off of that news.
But when did that news actually come out last night, or did it just be, is it like displayed last night,
Well, I use, best news source ever. And I think I told you about the app. It's called Stock Screener. for the iOS,
Okay.
and it gives me news consistently all day long. And what it does is that headlines it and it shoots it across my phones.
I
And
see.
so I'm like, oh, I hear a beep. That's the news. And I looked. And then, like, one was Pfizer is in the beginning stages to purchase and buy out that other company so they can use them for distribution of the new vaccine slash flu testing shit that they're coming up with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah. And that's, last night I posted that because it was after I did my watch list and that news came across. And then you just click on the article if you want to read more. And then if you don't have enough information there, you can do your search and go check them out on the internet or, at the SEC or shit, pretty much anywhere you get your information from. But that it's called Stock Screener, and I can send you what it looks like
I
if you
think the
want to.
Canadian Bloomberg terminal is free too, and it's pretty rapid. I think so. It's because usually the Bloomberg terminal is not free, but the Canadian one is.
Huh.
But I don't use any of those news sources. I just get my news from Weeble, which might be where I'm slipping. So, but
Well, they're good too. Um, I used to use Moo for my daily news,
yeah,
and then I use my wife a lot because she's really big into current events and stuff.
yeah.
So I'll get up in the morning, she'll be gone, and there'll be a note on the table that says, "Check out this. I think it'll help you in trading today."
Aw,
And I'm like, man, that's awesome.
what a
Yeah, she
nice
came
lady.
full, dude. She came full circle from before telling me I'm not allowed to talk about stocks to anybody in the house. And you know how
Yeah,
addicting it gets. And I'm like,
yeah.
no. And then when we hang out with our friends, she's like, you're not allowed to talk about stocks. And I'm like, what am I supposed to talk about? That's all I do. But then she, like one day she just said, how do you get your current events? And I said, what do you mean? She said, do you watch the news? Do you buy a newspaper? Do you go online? And I said, honestly, I don't do any of that. And she said, so let me get this straight. You talk about catalyst trading and you don't have a news source. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so I watch the news every night. I read the newspaper online. This stock screener has that really good information that comes across, and it's world news, not just for the United States.
Right.
And I think I got a couple of people in the group are using the same thing. I think Spacecraft said he was. It was either him or Big Ginger. I can't remember, but it's great. Weeble has good news. Mumu
Mm-hmm.
has good news. The trick is to try to get the news before everybody else does. So this
Yep.
is why every ticker I invest in, what do?
Get their news from the website, right? Get their email.
Yes, sign
That's
up
right.
for investor relations, and normally you will get the email a couple minutes before it goes public.
Good.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. I mean, you get a lot of freaking emails.
Yeah. Yeah, I rarely check my email, so maybe that could be an option for me. I could make a specific email just for that and have that notifications on. And
I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good idea.
I
Then it
think
won't
yeah, I
clog up
think
my
I might
personal.
I might do that. But I just never check my email because it's all bogged up with, when you're creating different accounts here and there, you put your email and they all
Oh, yeah.
send you crap.
Oh, absolutely, man. So I haven't checked my email in the last 2 weeks just because I've been burning midnight oil trying to get this app completed.
Yeah, man.
I opened it up this morning, 10,912 emails.
Oh my
On
gosh.
my phone, I have over 3,000 text messages, and my voicemail box
Unopened?
is full. So I don't even know. Yeah,
Oh my
because you know
gosh.
when you're sitting there and it's tedious, it's monotonous. I don't keep the phone on. I keep it on silent and I check it when I'm taking a break. But I'll be like, oh, I'm working today, so I'm not gonna fuck with that.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 weeks. And now I'm like, oh my God, do I just delete all of these and just tell everybody something happened to my phone?
Yeah.
But I do. Um, the one thing is, anybody in the group who has my cell phone number, which should be everybody, um, I put them in the special, like, important people
Mm-hmm.
bracket. So when they call, it gets a certain ringtone, and or text,
Right.
and that way I'm like, okay, that's part of the group. This is what we do, and then I'll take a break and answer back. But everybody else, even if you're my family, yeah, I hope you haven't tried to call or text in the last 2 weeks.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. And then I could hear my sister saying, "Dude, not cool, not cool." And then I always say, "Hey, you know how I am. Just because you call doesn't mean I have to call you back." And then she'll be like, "That is so rude." Am I wrong
Dang.
though?
I
Just
don't
because
know.
someone
My
calls or
parents
texts
get
or
so mad at me when I don't answer the phone.
really?
Yeah,
They're like, "What the hell
bro.
is he doing?"
You know, I guess.
Um,
Oh, I guess they just want to talk to me because I'm always busy. You know, I rarely call anybody. So it's kind of, you know, they just want to hear from me. So they usually end up calling me. So if I don't answer, they're like, "Oh, he's avoiding us."
you're like, "Why would I avoid you? You live right down the road."
Exactly. I literally live two doors down.
They could just come knock on the door.
Right.
Well, yeah, I could see that, staying busy like that. I know I don't like to be disturbed when I'm working on a project, or like last
I
night I
am
made
that
the
way.
mistake.
That's right. Yeah.
I, I was doing my watch list. My Our youngest is on spring break from college, so she arrived yesterday, and we're all sitting down watching the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Last, have you ever seen it?
I've heard of that movie.
It's really good. And so I was like, well, since you two are in here watching the movie, I'm just gonna go ahead and set up a desk right here so I can do some work while you're watching TV, and then we're all together, right?
Uh-huh.
My wife kept trying to hold my hand. She laid her head on my shoulders. She was laying across my lap, and then she would just keep talking and talking. And finally, I had to put it away and wait for them to leave the room. Because if I would have got up and left, she would have been like, "Seriously, Lauren
Yeah.
just got home and you're going to be in a different room," which I
Stocks
get
is
that.
more important than me.
How do you think we pay the bills?
Right.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
That's just what happens when you work from home.
Exactly.
Almost got to
Well,
go
and
to,
that's,
almost got to make a separate building.
dude, yes. Well, and I have an office too,
Yeah.
and I'm never in there alone. And
Wow.
I'm not complaining, but like I like to do projects. I want to get in, be the most efficient. Time management, how much labor you're putting into it. I set up a plan, and then if I'm there and I'm reading or I'm typing, and then someone's talking to me, I can't multitask.
Right.
So either I'm going to pretend I'm listening to you and nod my head and hit the keyboard, or
Yeah.
I have to stop what I'm doing. And my wife always says, "Repeat back to me what I just said to you." And I'm like, "You were like, hey, John." Oh, but so because we work from home, people always assume we're at their beck and call, and that they're all my friends are always like, "I called you on my lunch break. Why didn't you answer?" I'm like, "You realize I do work during the day, right?" "Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're at home. It's not the same thing." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And
I don't know. My parents always call me, and that's the first things out of my mouth. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, working. I feel bad though, because that's like, I rarely ever am not doing anything. So that's like all I say really.
working.
Working.
They should be they should be proud of that though.
They
I'm sure
are.
they are.
They are, you know.
But they
I'm
want you
learning.
to prioritize them.
I'm learning to include them more, you know, because I wasn't. I was just kind of, a couple years ago, I was just totally like rebellious, and how teenagers are. So totally
Man,
not trying to include my parents' things, but now it's different. It's way different now.
yes. Yeah. There is that big break once you become an adult and you realize, hey, I actually like my parents.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how your childhood was, but like my parents didn't teach me shit growing up.
Yeah.
Oh well, my mom could barely speak English, and my dad was always working. And so, like when I got out of high school, all my friends went to college, and I was like, "How do I apply for college?"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "I have to pay how much per application?"
I know.
I'm like, 18-year-old kid who just graduated, waiting tables at some shithouse buffet place. I don't have $80 per application to turn in.
Yeah. I just I was totally like against school because ever since the internet came out, I was just kind of like, what's the point of school? But I understand that you need a mentor, so that's why I believe schooling is important. But then again, it's so overvalued. I mean, 4 years of schooling is, unless you go to community college, it's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. It's really, really difficult for me to grasp how it would be worth that, other than finding a way to educate myself through my
Yes.
books and stuff. I read a lot. I mean, I read multiple times a day, and I'm always on the internet, so I do learn a
I
lot, and I'm always watching YouTube videos. So my worry is that they might cap that someday, and they might make like education like you have to go to college to get education, or but maybe not. I don't. They haven't done it yet. They just throw ads at you all day. Maybe that's what they'll do.
Yeah, dude. Well, this is okay. Of course, when all the kids graduated from high school, and there's six of them, so I have the same conversation with all of them because nobody wants to go to college. Actually, my oldest daughter wanted to go and she loved it, but I call her uh, nerdy Smurf.
Nerdy Smurf.
She's like she's naturally intelligent,
Uh huh.
so everything academically is extremely easy for her. But my thing is, I don't care if they go to college or don't go to college. Your life, you have to try to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life, which is a lot to ask an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
And my take is, okay, if you plan on working a job that you don't need an education for, then I wouldn't waste the money on college
Yeah.
because like you could do a trade school,
Right.
or you could do like say you just wanted to work at Starbucks because you want to open your own coffee house someday.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a degree for that. But if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, professions like that, an economist or economist, things like that, yes, you're going to need a degree because nobody's going to hire you without knowing you were formally trained.
Yeah.
So if you can make it and you're content, when you're trying to plan out your future, then by all means, I'm not going to criticize you or hold you back if you don't want to go to college. Plus, I save money if they don't go.
Yeah. You know, so, man, I was really interested in going around this time, about a year and a half ago, or about this time 2 years ago. I was really interested in going. I was gonna go for electrical engineering because driving for Uber,
Oh yeah.
they give you a free bachelor's, and so I applied, and
Wait, Uber does?
yes, right now
If you
I'm still able to get a free bachelor's right now.
so if I started driving for Uber, I could get another bachelor's, I guess.
Another bachelor's, yes. But there's parameters. You have to drive a certain amount of deliveries every month, and you have to have at least 1,000 deliveries under your belt. I have 3,000, so I'm in that range.
You
Um,
have 3,000 deliveries?
I've been driving for Uber for like 4 years, just as like a side job, and now it's like that's how I make the majority of my income right now while I'm learning and training and practicing the market. That and
Damn,
I've
dude.
got other forms of income, but that's my that's like my some people they wait tables or something while they're learning through college or this. This is what I do. I do Uber, but I have a lot of deliveries. I've got
Now, does it?
3,500.
Holy shit. Now, you don't have to tell me how much you make, but is it lucrative to work for Uber?
Yeah, I mean, I pay my bills, but it's a job. It's not like you can just like screw around and be like, oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be smart about it. You have to know the kind of orders to take. You have to know the kind of orders to take in the direction you want to go. Otherwise, you'll end up in a whole different city. You have to know, no, really. There's some days where I I don't make um as much as I could because there's not enough risk to reward. You literally have to treat it like trading. Like if I don't want to take an order that takes me all the way to, Dallas, if I'm in North Dallas or something, I don't want to take an order that does that if there's not a guarantee that I get an order coming back. So I want to take orders that keep me around a certain area. And in this way, I'm the most efficient with my gas, with my money. Everything's a good risk to reward, and I make good money doing that. So, but you have to know these things. Otherwise, if you just start out and you don't know these things, no, just like the stock market. If you don't have the experience, you don't know these things, you don't know, you are going to hate it. You are going to lose money driving for Uber. You really will, because they're not in the interest of reimbursing you for these things. So you got to know.
Right. Damn.
But
I
I
didn't
mean,
realize
I
that.
pay all my bills. I have an excellent budget, and I make money to fund my trading, to fund my learning. I yeah, I live off of Uber right now, and it's pretty lucrative, yeah.
Dude, that's so awesome.
For
I,
me it is because I've been doing it for so long that I know how to do it. People are like, "What do you mean you know how to do Uber?" No, you really have to. Just like trading, you have to know how to take the order. You have to know where it's gonna take everything. It's so and it's
you have
it's
to know
helped
how
with
long it's going to take you.
right. Right. It's helped with trading because you develop that consciousness, is this worth it mentality. How much does this cost mentality? You develop that. You develop that. How much am I paying for this? So it really does help with trading.
Damn. Well, that's cool. It- See, so you get a lesson learned and you still make mad cash while you're getting ready to make even more mad cash.
Yeah. And it really does help me with trading, because I only put in a certain amount in trading every week, but then I extract that,
Yeah.
and I take more out, and that just goes to my savings, so it's almost like, Uber is an investment because I'm taking the money and I'm putting it into the market, and then I take the money out of the market after I trade it. So it's really it's good for me. It's better than having to be obligated to go to a job because I don't want to do that. At least right now, I want to have time to watch videos or listen to podcasts while I'm driving for Uber. I can learn about the market more, et cetera, et cetera. I have all this time. So it's good like that.
That's because very, very organized it sounds. That's awesome.
Yeah. But,
Definitely more organized than myself.
dude, I want to talk about some trades. I want to talk about,
Yeah, that's what, I was just gonna say that. Let's jump to some meat and bones here. So
I want to talk about Boyle,
yeah, let's I
that
meant to look it up yesterday.
natural gas. I want to
Oh,
talk about that.
okay, let's look at it. Okay, so this is a question you like to ask me a lot. What do you see in that ticker that makes you like it?
Well, I see volume divergence, and that's about the only thing. It's trending. It started trending from February 22nd, around there. It started an uptrend, and it looks like it broke the downtrend. So this is it's in play now. You know, and the volume divergence has been happening since the beginning of 2023, and now it's even more. Now there's even more volume. So
All right.
I'm interested in this for a trade, maybe a month long swing or something like that. Because eventually, it's gonna start gaining momentum. You know, because right now all I see is just smart money institutions, etc., hedge funds. They're just accumulating. That's what all this volume is. Is they're accumulating from the selling. So I'm more or less interested in that, in finding this bottom here, and finding a good entry, because that's a lot of volume. It's the most volume it's ever had ever. So it's
All right.
pretty
Well,
I mean, it's the most it's ever had ever.
so it's going somewhere.
But the problem is I don't think it's ever been this low of a price, right? It's
Uh,
I see the previous
52
low
week low,
was
434.
yeah,
What's
but
your
the
previous?
previous low was $17. That's the lowest it's ever been below this. And it went from $17 to a high of about 150. And now it's at $4.
Wait. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 52-week high, you said at 140 and 50 cents. I'm taking notes here.
Yeah,
And
140.
50. And what'd you get for that 52-week low?
Well, I don't know. I don't. Well, yeah, it's still 434. I'm saying how far is back is 52 weeks. Maybe it adds up to the previous low is $17. That's the lowest it's been before.
Damn. Okay. So we've currently traded 53.04 million shares, right? For the day.
Okay.
And then your average volume is 68 million. So it looks like we're on track to actually have more volume by the end of today than the average volume trades. But there's really no way of knowing that until it happens.
What's the average volume? It's like 3 months, right?
Yes.
So 3 months back is about the beginning of 2023. So
All
yeah,
right.
we will reach the average, I'm assuming. But
Huh.
what's really
Hey,
fascinating is this is just like the Tesla trade. How they're seeing this massive spike of volume, but the price isn't following. You know, the law of effort versus result. If you read that book that I always be spamming in the Discord, Volume Price Analysis,
wait, did you put that in there?
I always spam that book. Yeah, the free
Would you
PDF.
say effort versus what?
The law of effort versus result.
I like that saying.
It's saying well, basically the lower prices go, the higher volume should be, you know, because it's cheaper.
Correct.
You can buy more. You know, it makes sense
Yes.
that way. But we're going to relate this to even the same, you know, I mean, we can kind of use the volumes from different prices to see what the volume's like, to kind of see what it usually does at different prices, and it's been higher now than I mean recently since we'll say since November. It's been higher now than usually it ever has been. Since November, it's been about, we'll say on average 6 million. And the previous November, it was only averaging about 2 million. So probably because
So
probably because it was both selling and buying mixed, because it was going to head lower. But I mean, there's just so much volume here at these prices that I just don't see why it wouldn't turn around. There's just so much buying.
now, is it the buying that you're seeing? Do you have a price that with the volume? Like, is it 626 where it has the most volume?
So the highest volume price right now is $6.04. But that is since 2022. Since
The highest.
2022, the beginning of 22, the highest volume price is $6. $6.04. Okay. And that makes
And
sense because that would actually be the price where this equity would break its downtrend. So around $6 is where it broke its downtrend, which would make sense why there's volume there, because it took a lot of volume to break that trend.
so somebody is keeping it down there, is what that's telling me. They're not letting it pass.
Well, it's
Oh my
being
God.
accumulated. It's just being accumulated right now. But this, it's fine. It could be accumulated, et cetera, et cetera. But timing's everything, right? I don't want to just buy if it's gonna hold sideways for the next 5 years. That's a bad return on investment. I want to buy right before it's about to start really moving. So that's what I'm saying. Do you have any ideas or anything? Because with Tesla, what happened with Tesla is as soon as this capitulation, um, inefficiency, volume divergence, all the same thing. As soon as this happened, then that was basically the bottom. It didn't hit it. It didn't stay there, right? It just immediately
Right.
bounced. And so whether or not that's happening now, or whether or not we broke out of the trend and we're going to retest the trend and it's going to continue lower, and then there's going to be more I don't know, right? That's just, I mean, so what we do know now is it broke the trend, and it broke the trend while it's seeing massive accumulation. So if anything, this is a long-term swing, if anything. But to get the best price, right? Should we
Right.
just be cheap on it and save a couple bucks per share, or just go ahead and buy it because there's enough upside?
Okay. Now I'm just looking at a couple things real quick. Okay.
Because really, this looks like, for the volume profile since 2022, the entire area where the majority of 70% of the volume was traded was between $4.34 and $28.70. So we'll just say between $5 and $30. Between that range is where 70% of the volume is, which makes sense because there's support at $30 and it took volume to break that. So we can almost see that the first resistance, a big resistance, would be $30. $30 a
Okay.
share.
All right.
Or
I am
or
taking.
even recently, for because I'm only looking from 2022. I'm not looking farther back.
Okay. Yeah, and you don't need to go farther back because you're just doing I would assume a short term to a midterm trade. You're not going to hold it for 6 months or a year.
Yeah, I
You
mean
just
it's
want to make
on.
your money and get out.
Yeah, only a couple months. Probably a month. But really,
Okay.
this kind of volume is basically it is what happens when these overreactions happen. Like on Tesla, like just hammering, hammering, hammering. Like all the news came out about natural gas, and how it's getting banned or et cetera, et cetera. But
Right. And natural gas, I I've received a lot of like emails and text messages from all these different trading groups, stuff like that. And natural gas is high on the invest in it and hold it long term.
hmm,
So I know that they're the fracking and this and that, and they're like, oh, it's bad for the air, it's not going to last. But we're supposed to have the coldest winter that we've ever had in North Carolina this winter, and most everybody here runs off propane. And I remember when I could fill my propane tank, I think it's a 125 gallon, and it would cost me $250 with delivery. Now to fill that same tank, it cost me $1,400.
but why is it so
And
cheap? Why is this so cheap then? If it doesn't match the relation to that,
okay, what we have to ask is what is natural gas at right now?
how do you look at what's the actual ticker for that, for the fund, or what is that?
No, it would just be under resources off of the CNN business page that I use to show the futures. I
Okay.
don't know if I've ever told you that.
No, I never knew
CNN,
that.
oh yeah, CNN.com, or just do a Google search or Yahoo, whatever search engine you use, and
Uh,
put CNN futures. And then you can bookmark the page. But that's how I track the futures and the commodities. And then the dollar, like the US dollar and stuff,
uh-huh.
and compared to everybody else, it has all of that.
Okay,
And then it shows you,
I'm looking at their futures, but I want to find the natural gas.
go down to commodities. You should be able to scroll down. You're going to see the futures. Then you're going to see pre market movers keep going down. You're going to see world markets keep going down, currencies keep going down, and bam, commodities. So natural gas is at $2.67. And if I am not mistaken, it was somewhere around that same area on Friday. So this is, and this is just my take on it. In order for oil to have a much bigger move than it's having, natural gas has to go up in price. And it doesn't have to go up that much. I would think you only need 3 or 4 or 5 cent, 3, 4, 5 cent increase. So we'll say 270. So if natural gas moves up to 270 from the 267, I think you're going to see a pretty decent run on oil.
Okay.
Let me
So
look
you
this.
don't think this is one that to be early in? That's what this volume is saying, is that now is the time to be early. That's basically what it's saying, but I
I
mean,
Okay. VWAP is at $6.15, right?
currently I
So
think so, yeah.
yeah, we are holding over VWAP because we're at 6.295. Um, so here's the question we got to ask. This is what I would ask myself. Do I see a continuation where it's going to break out because it's holding steady above VWAP? Or do I think there's enough shorts in that volume where it's going to drop it below that by
Right.
the end of the day or overnight? And then this is where the way you use volume comes in. Now, I'm I'd be willing to bet you don't have a way to differentiate uh, short volume versus long volume.
No, that's why you look at the divergence. and that's the only way. You have to look. You have to find a divergence.
Nice.
Like if like I can see like the close of a candle, the open and close, and for
Yes.
it to, you have to compare them. So you look at two different candles, and you say, okay, this one definitely moved farther down. It took more. It had a bigger result, but how's the effort? How's the fuel? How's the fuel versus the efficiency? You look at that, and it's if it's the same, then that's a divergence, because if it moves farther down, it should technically take more volume. It should
Right.
take more volume to do
Absolutely.
more work, is what I'm saying. So that's why when you look at natural gas, you can see it's moving down, but now it's actually slowing the move down. It's actually moving more sideways, but there's more volume now. So if anything, and you actually look at the red candles and you look at the red volume, and you see that that is increasing over time, but it's not increasingly moving faster down. So that tells me between those days where it opens and closes lower, there's a lot of sideways movement in there that is buyers buying up. So it's you get it. It's more, there's more volume in
Yeah.
those. Yeah, you get that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, looking at the chart currently, let's use the last. Hello. Let's use the last. We'll say hour.
Okay.
What are you getting out of the candlestick patterns?
In the last hour,
Yeah. Let's say the last hour.
um,
Lauren, you can turn the TV
well,
on
it's
too.
coming back. It's coming back to VWAP, and it's kind of holding it. Um, I'd say if it didn't like VWAP, we would see some volume divergence. But right now, we saw volume divergence at $6.05. That was an extremely high volume. Well, that was one of the higher volumes of the day, and was at the candle at 10 o'clock exactly.
Okay.
And
Yeah. What time is it? Noon. Oh yeah. Let's go back 2 hours. That's good. Keep going. Okay, you're good.
okay, so anyways, there was high volume at that candle there on that divergence, and which shot it back to VWAP. So now what I would want to see is, I want to see a confirmation. There's either divergence or there's confirmation. Confirmation would mean as it's moving higher, I want to see volume increase, because if volume decreases as it's moving higher, as prices increase, then it's becoming efficient. It's taking less to do the same amount, which means that sellers are all waiting, or it's gonna pivot and come back down,
It's empty.
which is what's happening right now. It's taking less volume to do about the same amount of trend. So really, I can see it coming above VWAP and then breaking back underneath it. I can see it doing that. Um, but volume needs to come in, and it'd probably come in around here, right, to break above VWAP.
Okay, so you definitely know what you're looking at.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean,
Now,
it's just until it breaks above VWAP and volume comes in, and we're seeing increasing volume as it's moving up, then I can kind of expect, by looking at these higher time frames, that it's kind of slowing down, and we might be in a distribution phase right now, for now, until it's gonna pull back or hold for a little bit, or retest that trend that it broke earlier. It might go back down to $6 or something like that, which it already
okay,
kind of did.
here,
So
okay, here is, oh, here we go. Um, what I uh, am seeing, and it's pretty close to what you're seeing, other than the fact that I think based off of the candlestick pattern, we're seeing that it's the end of the run currently.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm seeing too.
and so based off of that, then I would say, okay, which, and this is if you use candlesticks, which you're really good at it, so definitely keep using them.
Yeah.
But what I would do, like I'd look at it and I'd say, okay, currently, what is today's candlestick pattern? And I'm pretty sure it's a black candlestick pattern, which means that it is bearish. And this is where shorts would come in, and they would probably hit it somewhere around the 627, 628, 629,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in there. And then they're going to try to drop it. And so what we've seen is that uh, the lowest point that the stock's been in 52 weeks is $4.34.
Right.
So that's obviously a support. Um, and then, you have a little bit of support going through the way. I have to look at the volume to tell you exactly where it's sitting. But from there, I would assume shorts are going to try to drop it to $4.34. So on
Yeah.
this trade, I would wait to enter it until at least 5 was the first number.
Right. That, and you know what? That makes sense because the highest volume price from just, well, for 1 month, 1 month back from right now to like
Yeah.
January 27th is let me see. Yeah, it's about $5 and wow. Uh no, it's actually $6. Still $6. So what I see now on the 2-hour chart, um I'm seeing accumulation and then a fake out, and now it just came all the way back up to that zone, that accumulation zone. And if it does hold this $6 zone, um, I don't believe it might come back down. I think it would break out, to be honest, and go to 7 again. But that just I was thinking that it would come back down and retest around 5, but it seems like it kind of already did that. It seems like we went even further down to 4, and now it's back to 6.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I want to
But
see.
I do know that what I'm seeing on the daily, I do know that as prices were increasing right now, volume was decreasing. I do know that for the last 4 days. So yes, there will be a pullback, but whether or not it's like to 550 or something like that, or 525, it could very well possibly be 525 or around there, 550, and then
Okay. I have one question. This will tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. How many shares are in the float? I can't find it.
I think it's because it's a ETF. I don't think it has.
Oh, there's you're right. Oh, I'm so stupid. I forgot we were using an ETF. Um, Now with that though, it looks like we're almost at the average daily volume, and it looks like we're going to surpass it. I think. Where'd you go?
Good.
There you go. Yeah. According to my stock analyzer, I just put it in because I was trying to find the shares in the float, but it doesn't have them. There's got to be a cap somewhere though, because I
Market
would
cap?
imagine they can't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is the market cap? I can get it. Bless you. I can get it from there. That's because we can't find how many shares are in the float. No. Let me look. I'm going to try it this way. I think I can get the market cap through Robinhood. They suck at a lot of things, but they're really easy to get information from. Oh, okay.
It just says total.
1.5.
Yeah, exactly. It just says total assets is 1.5 billion.
Yep. Okay. Let me do that because I can get. Do you know how to sorry, I'm trying to write. Do you know how to get how many shares it has in the float by knowing the what the company's worth or the market cap?
I
Let me
think
get
you do
the
the
calculator here.
cap divided by the price, right?
Yes. And then that will tell us how many shares that they have available for us to trade. Okay, it was 1.51 billion. So let me do this. I had to go online and use a calculator because the calculators they make at home don't do big numbers unless you have like a big secret calculator. Okay, billion 151. So that's 151,000. 151 million. One more zero. There we go. Okay, so we do that divided. And what is it? We'll say 630 right now. Is that it's probably
Yeah,
pretty
it's
close
it's
to
at
that.
$6.30. 6.31.
Okay, so holy shit. Let me make sure I have all my things right. Dude, I'm gonna have to figure out how they do shares in the ETF because it's got to be done a different way. I've never thought of this before.
I think it's the amount of assets in it because it's created it has multiple companies in it or multiple things in it. Let me look it up. Look at the fund. Yeah, asset allocation. Here we go. Okay, that it's it's only based on one holding, and it's a natural gas future.
Oh, okay.
It has a 200% weight in it. So it looks like
It's a
it's
leverage.
2x. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a leveraged ETF. Nice. Which means you'll make 2% versus 1% if it runs.
Not bad.
Okay, I'm getting 240 million shares are in the float.
Okay.
So with that, we're going to look at our average daily volume of 68 million shares. So in theory, for this to actually do a decent move, we probably need to see at least 130 million shares traded. So we'll say over 100. So we probably that would be another thing that I would look at. Okay, how big's the flow? How much is floating around out there? What does the short percentage look like? And I assume for you it's the same thing. Like you don't sit there and go through a checklist. You just know when you're looking at the ticker, you're like, okay, check this, bam, checks out, checks out, checks out. Is that how you do it? Or do you do it step by step and you're like, okay, this is the 52-week low, this is the 52-week high,
Honestly,
this is
I
the
don't
slope.
look at that stuff. I just look at the volume and the price, and I just see like I said, like I just get an overall bias, and then I look for a shorter term entry. Like my overall bias right now is a medium to long term swing, and now I want to look for a short term entry to make sure that I don't, I get the best price. That's
Right.
really honestly that's really all I do. I'm not, and well, that's a lie because I do know that natural gas is kind of like people are pessimistic about it right now because it's been, all this it's talk in Europe and all that stuff. So I know about that. So that might have been also why I'm considering this.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me look at this. Oh, it's right. The shares are right in front of me. It has 257.8 million shares. Okay, so with that, yeah. So close to what we thought. I thought it was 240 million. So we were only off by 17 million, which isn't bad. But that's because the price went up a penny and a half since I did my calculations. Okay, so I'm looking at
See, now
the
news is
chart.
coming out and it's positive. It's news just came out saying natural gas ETF draws by the dip investors. And usually what I see is that news like this will come in after smart money or hedge funds are already done accumulating. And now they're trying to push it now, you
Right.
know. So
Huh.
I can kind of see that because the highest volume was at the 22nd, which is not 2 days ago. So now we're decreasing in volume as it's going up.
Yes.
So I'd assume it will pull back to like 550 or something like that, or 525. But yeah, they might be done accumulating. I think so. So um, I don't really tell
I think
because Tesla's kind of the same way. Well, not really, because it's been it's been increasing in volume as it's been moving higher. So but this has been increasing in volume as it's been moving lower for right now. So now we just need to see it move up and see the volume increase as it's moving higher.
okay, for me, after listening to you and then looking at everything and then verifying the information, I would take a short-term swing at $6.24.
Okay.
And but it's going to be very short term. I'm only looking to make like 7-8 cents on the move. That
Yeah.
would be my that would be my first selling point. Would probably be back over 630, and then I would check out the price action, see if there's any walls further down the
Yeah.
road.
But I'd figure
But
if it's no, now it's kind of time for, and I don't know, I feel like if they're done accumulating, it should be moving pretty hard, and this is a strong trend, right? I mean, it's been a strong
yeah,
trend. Today it's up what? It's up 5% today.
yeah,
And the other day it was
but
up what? Up like 15% or something like that, or almost a percent. So yeah, I mean, it is correct. Up 6% from the 22nd to 23rd. So it's a pretty strong trend that's consistent.
it is. See, look, you changed my mind
I'm
because
just
at first
I'm
I
just
said
looking
I
at this
wouldn't have until
volume
5,
because I don't
but
know. I mean, I'd assume they're buying into the selling because they can't just buy because they'd move the price, so they have to buy into the selling.
yes,
And then that's why we saw sideways action on from like the beginning of February to about the 15th, was because they were accumulating a lot at $6, a lot. But then they either they slowed it down or something happened, and now then it kept selling off a little bit, and looks like they bought even more on the 17th, and then the 21st they bought even more there. That was the highest volume prices ever. Actually, no. The highest ever was on the 22nd. Second highest was on the 21st. So the 21st and the 22nd are the highest volume at times. Sorry, volume at times. So those are the highest volume days ever was the 21st and the 22nd, and that looks like the pivot almost. The 21st was a red to red, it opened red, it closed red. The 22nd was a green to green. So, and there's actually even more volume on the 22nd. So, from that day, the 21st to 22nd, as prices were increasing, volume was increasing. So that was validating. That was validating the move, which makes sense because the move continued. But now that it's at almost $7, I mean, it almost hit $7, like what, six? I don't know, 650 or 660 like that. Once it hit 650, it's experiencing lower volume now. So the market is saying the price is a short term a little bit too high. So I think you are right. I think short term it'll either stay sideways for a little bit, since this is like the highest volume price is $6. Around $6, this is the highest volume price since 2022. And
Damn, that that's
uh-huh.
strong.
Yeah. So, and but that just means there's a lot of fighting here. There's buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, right? Otherwise, if it was a low volume, it's just straight up or straight down. It doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna jump in, or are you gonna wait till it drops into the five?
Well, right now the price isn't validating the volume. It's basically saying milk is too high, right? As milk gets cheaper,
Yep.
volume increases, but as milk goes up, volume decreases. I want to see milk going up in price and volume going up in price. That's what I want to see right now on boil. So maybe let it develop for another week and put it on the high watch. Like I was saying it's on high watch earlier. I probably might keep it on high watch still again. But in the case that it does break out of this range, in the case it does break above 7, I might wait for a $7 retest and go half on the retest, and then if it bounces, I'd add the other half of my position, or I could slowly accumulate now and just go ahead and buy it now, because we are seeing it doesn't matter if it's a swing, really. I mean, we kind of be penny pinching to wait and see. Everything's validating right now. Everything. I mean, so
Dude, it's so scary how much you think like I do.
really.
I would go, yeah, because you're right. It's just we're pinching pennies here, to let it drop down to $6.15 or
Yeah.
6.24.
It
Uh,
really depends
with
on
the
what time frame you're trading, though. I feel like for the swing, I might want to just grab some and just not care and just kind of accumulate over the $6 area. But to
yes,
get the best price and to maybe add the most, I'd say probably you're right, around like 550, something around there. And if it doesn't get to 550, I wouldn't wait. I'd probably wait. If it hits $6 again and it's acting strange and it's holding, I'd probably just add it there, but I think you're right. I think it will dip a little bit. So you get the best price, best risk to reward probably there, but whether or not it's worth it to wait for a 30-cent drop or 50 cents or a dollar drop to possibly get an entire move all the way to 30. I mean, which won't happen overnight, probably happen within the next month or two, or I don't know, maybe by the end of 2023 you could do it. But
or dude, we just need natural gas to go up $3 or 3 cents. That's it. That I would keep an eye on that. Now you know where I get my futures,
yeah, I
the
didn't know
dollars,
that.
the
Yeah.
world markets, things like that. Yeah, I should actually put a list together for you because I have it all set up where it's easy. I can just grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it, which
Mhm.
it really won't make a difference at this point because our app is going to do all of that. Everything you're going to need to make a decision on a trade is going to be on one page. You
So
don't have to go
crazy.
anywhere else. Dude, I incorporated AI into it because I want it to get smarter as it trades.
Wow.
I told my wife I was gonna disrupt the stock market, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to come to fruition with the Terminator movies.
Pretty good.
I'm like, fuck the stock market. My
Yeah.
computer is gonna rule the world.
Uh, okay, so we know
So
about
okay,
yeah. So we
go
know
ahead.
about boil.
Okay, so
Right.
short term, like if I were to grab it today, I would I would probably grab 25% at $6.24.
Yeah,
I'd be comfortable with that because, we're saying you said 550. We can average down a lot with 75% of the shares that we still haven't taken.
right.
But it also ensures that if it doesn't run, or if it does run, you didn't miss the run. You're going to
Yeah,
make
you're
at least a
still
little
in
bit.
and you have time,
And then you'll have free money to fuck around with
right.
because we're a little more bold when we're trading off of profits than when we're pulling off of our principal.
That's right. So I
That and
want you to
that's
look at well, sorry, keep talking, keep talking.
oh no, I was gonna say, and that's a thing how I determine my stop losses because you
Yeah.
notice you do it too. We trade the same stocks over and over, and occasionally there's a new one, and we're like, "Woohoo! There's a new stock. We have something to do." But I look at the profit that I've made off of that stock, and not made from a year ago or from 6 months ago. Like if I just recently traded it and I'm going back in, I'd be like, okay, I'm up $1,000, so I can be foolish with that $1,000.
Right.
And so I take more risk when it's money I've already made on that same ticker, like in a short period of time.
Mm.
Because sometimes you're just like, what the hell? I don't want to put all that effort into it. I'm not going to go digging online for 5 hours. I'm just going to go with my gut and buy it. And then you just set a tight stop loss.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll see that when I put tight stop loss, that means I didn't do a thorough investigation on the stock. That's probably good for you to know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can also see like a tight stop loss would mean like you're fully in the position and you're done averaging down and you're just this is where you'd absolutely know that you're wrong. I can also see that.
Oh, cool. I'm going with that. That's the new reason I do it. It sounds way more educated than mine is. Wait, he just called out a play for all of us and he didn't research the ticker.
Right.
And that's the thing. I'm not calling out plays for people to follow. I'm telling them what I am doing.
Right. Right.
Because and you say it all the time. I love it in caps. If you're blindly following any one of our trades without doing your own research, you are not meant to be a trader.
I'm
I
screaming
love
at
it.
him.
Dude, I know. Oh my gosh. Okay, you got
Um
another ticker you want to look at?
yeah, dude, look at Xela. I know you
Xela?
hate it.
Oh my god. I just talked to Elliot about this one. Big Ginger.
Uh-huh.
He he uh he texts me on the side sometimes. He's from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. Got
Mhm.
along right out of the gate. But he was like, "Hey, what's going on with Zella?" I said, I'm not sure if you've been paying attention because I know you're busy, but I keep saying that the float is way too fucking big to get that stock to move anywhere. They would
Yeah.
have to do like a share buyback program
Mhm.
or serious insider buying for that stock to do a parabolic move. Now, do I think you could get 100% out of it? Yeah, absolutely. If the price was manipulated, you would need a market maker in there shooting the price up so they could trap people so they can short it, which has been known to happen.
Man, this thing is like yeah, news came out Xela stock drops over 10% as unit skips interest payments on senior notes. I mean,
It's like they're not going out of business. These people are so stupid. And you know what I can't believe? Who the fuck shorts a 5 cent stock? Like, what the hell? Tell me that's not one of the most ridiculous things you've ever seen. And you
but
have all these people in the chat rooms. They're like, it's against SEC policy to short a true penny stock. I'm like, no, it's not. You can short
right.
OTC stock all day long too. Like, but why would you? Because you're capped on how much you can make. If it's a 5 cent stock and yeah, yeah. If it's a 5 cent stock and it went out of business, you only lost 5 cents a share. That's that's probably less than we lose when we're full in a trade. You know what I mean?
I'm just so
Okay, so
confused. So the volume is the volume recently from February, I don't know, 10th. From February 10th, the volume started to die off, which is so
Everyone lost
strange.
interest.
Yeah, it's so strange, right? So,
Yes.
but does that mean that now is the time to buy it?
Okay. So here is what I am seeing. Oh, hold on. Let me gather all the information at the same time so I can just be like, bam, this is what I looked at. And this is
Yeah,
how I came up with that conclusion.
because
And I'm telling you, I
personally,
love Robinhood for
yeah,
information.
that's good. That's easy like that.
Oh, I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to send this to you so you can see how easy this is. I'm going to text the. Okay, there's that. There it is. All right, there we go. Eddie, I've been texting you all morning. Why are you not populating in my favorites? There we go. Come on. Oh, looks like I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm on the phone. Otherwise, I would just tell Siri to do it. There we go. Okay. Look at how easy this is. Let me know when you get it.
Okay.
And oh, okay, it should be coming now. Okay, average. There we go. Did it come across your phone yet?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Open. I think Weeble displays it like that.
Yeah, Webull does it too. I like it because it's just a clean screen and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have any more information than I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty
Because
good.
we, okay, yeah, oh my gosh. So average daily volume's 98 million shares traded, and it's currently at 41 million. And we have 3.5 hours left. So that stock's definitely not going to move up. Okay. And then let me put it here. Okay, so Xela's at 0.0511 and support is at 5 cents. So it will probably lose that 0.0011 off the end.
Yeah.
And then resistance is at 9 cents and average cost is at 9 cents. So I think we're seeing some of the low volume because these people are holding it.
Right.
So if they're not trading it, it's not going to shuffle the shares. Okay, so let's see. Let me look at that monthly pattern. Okay, bears are definitely in control because all the candles are red. This would be the time to buy it. Holy shit. Okay.
So since 2022, the highest volume price is 30 cents. That's since 2022.
Yes.
And the value area where 70% of the volume is,
Mm-hmm.
the top of that 70% is at 50 cents. The low of that 70% is at 4 cents. So that's since 2022 though. We can look however far. I wanna kind of do it um from 2023 because something happened in 2023 which made all this volume come in.
So what should we do? Should we do a 90-day? Let's do the 90-day. Oh, wait. 60-day because we're not in
Since
March
what,
yet. Okay.
November? or since
No,
2023?
yeah. And do we want to look at daily or weekly?
Let's look at the weekly. That's a good idea.
All right. Oh, weekly is only going to let me do it in years.
Okay,
What if
let's
I
do the
do
daily. That's
intraday?
good.
Okay. Wow, I never knew that. Okay.
But
So,
um,
yeah.
it's concerning. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. A lot of the so this is the opposite of everything that we just talked about.
Yes.
So you don't think they're going bankrupt?
Not not in the near future, no. Um, Plus, they have a lot of support for the government grants because they were using it. You know, it used to be the massage parlors at the airport. Is what uh, Xela? No, that's Expa. What is Xela? Technology?
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I'm mixing up. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh shit. Maybe they are going bankrupt. I was thinking that Expa. Okay. So I don't think they would run out of money yet because they would just continue to keep doing offerings, I would imagine, and keep putting all those shares up there.
Diluting
Oh,
float.
oh my God, dude, it's terrible. Okay, so
Financials?
let
I'm
no,
gonna
I'm
look at
going to
the
look at them. Okay,
their debt to assets pretty good, I guess. Well, no, it's not. It's actually really bad.
oh, dude, it's got a little bit of a run coming to it. RSI's at 28. Yeah, I'm going to buy some of this.
You think so?
Yeah, well, 52-week low is 4.5 cents roughly. 52-week high is $18.90, but I think it's because of the reverse split that price is so high. I don't think it's ever gotten there, not from what I can remember.
I just
Um,
want to know what happened on the 10th, on February 10th. That's when all this volume started happening. And I already looked at the 10th, and they signed a strategic partnership with Quintess Global. That's the news. That's what happened on the 10th.
oh yeah, okay.
But since then, all this volumes came in, and it looks like there's buying into the selling. That's what the volume says. And in fact, now that it dipped below the volume point of control, which is 6 cents, volume's actually pretty low.
Okay, and not to don't forget on the 10th. I don't know if you're in any of the pumper groups. You know, the
No,
guys that
no.
have like 100,000 followers, they buy the stock and then they call the stock ticker out after they bought it. And as all your followers are buying it, you sell into it.
No, I'm not.
Um, the 10th, have you ever heard of a guy called the Stock Authority?
No.
And he's in a group. It's him, it's Professor D Man, it's AC. AC is good. He's a fucking economist and he trades based off of the economical signs,
Uh,
not off of the actual stocks and stuff itself.
okay.
Okay, so the pumpers were pushing that one hard on the 10th. I actually have notes in front of me that is saying that. And that's another thing. I'm actually involved in two pump groups, and I use those because it allows me to know which stocks to avoid because they're pumping them.
Interesting.
And then it's the same thing. I'm in a shorting group and I don't short, but it tells me which stocks Nate and his followers are going to short.
Okay.
So I stay away from those too because he's got a 400,000 member following. So if he's going to short a stock, it's going down.
I'm just thinking though, so because on this one, prices came down after it broke the 6 cents. recently. Now it's at like 4 whatever or 5 cents. But the volume is about half as much as it was averaging in the end of January.
Does it
So
have you baffled?
it has me baffled because it doesn't make sense. This now tells me that it might be going either bankrupt or it's not it's just not there's no chance for it to come back. But I could be reading it
Um,
wrong. We got to keep it simple, like the whole milk thing. We got to keep it
yeah.
simple like that, because I mean, as of right now, as of right now, price came down, but nobody's buying here, or there's no volume here.
So
So
that means so it dropped on low volume. And do you remember what I say about that? If it drops on low volume or moves up on low volume, what does that mean?
well, I don't remember. For
The
me, it
stock
means
is
a
being
dev.
manipulated.
Oh, really? That's what you
Yeah,
think?
yes, because remember, we're going back to the old rule of thumb. In order for a stock to make 100% move, it has to turn 100% of its shares. So if it had 1,000 shares and the stock was $5, for the stock to go to $10, they would have to trade 2,000 shares. And then for it to go to 15, they would have to exchange 3,000 shares. So it's extremely important to know the size of the float and the market cap, which it's all intertwined. But it tells you, okay, is this stock being run up because a market maker has hidden, uh, you know, purchases in there, or is it being run up because some guy said I'm going to pay 9 cents a share and then bought a million shares just so that the price would go up?
Right.
So if it is not, if a price increase or decrease is not justified by the volume, it means somebody's controlling that price. And normally, I would tell you it's the market maker, because every single stock has a market maker that is responsible for it. And I can tell you, a stock doesn't run unless a market maker lets it. It doesn't drop down unless a market maker does it. Doesn't allow accumulation unless the market maker does it. Are you seeing where I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah,
with
yeah.
this?
I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that.
And there's actually a book by Oppenheimer, and he was the original market maker for the stock market. And that book breaks apart everything that they do behind the doors. Like Ken Griffin, his last name's Griffin, right? There's a Griffith.
Hmm?
But the Citadel guy, he's a market maker and he shorts the fuck out of everything.
Well,
And you see, Citadel made $16.8 billion last year.
yeah.
Well, a bunch of other places were going out of business because he illegally shorted all that stuff. And more power to him. Like, I don't fault the guy for trying to make a living. He's just my arch nemesis when he gets into a stock that I'm in, and then I'm like, shit. But you'll see that. And then Sabby's the other one. If I ever see Citadel or Sabby enter a stock, because they have to file it with the SEC for institutional ownership, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we know if I ever see Citadel or Sabby in a stock, I get out of it if I'm in it, and I avoid it till they're gone. They are the two biggest market makers that short.
Well,
And Ken Griffith's portfolio is like in the trillions.
wow.
And then his wife is also a market maker, but she goes long. Thank God. I couldn't handle two of them kicking my ass. But these are just like little tidbits of information, that I pay attention to, that you can look at for the when you're making a trade. And sometimes it makes it real easy. When I go and look at the institutional ownership, what percentage and which institutions, and
Mm-hmm.
then I see Savvy or Citadel, I move on to the next stock. No sense trading it because they're going to steal my money.
Hmm.
So it's just little things like that that I use to make a difference when I'm trading. And it works for me. I don't know if it would work for anybody else, but I like to have all the information.
Right.
But Xela, the float is way too big. Now, I'm going to put in a buy order 4 cents. I'll probably pick up like maybe 25,000 shares, 30,000, something like that, because I can see a move to at least 6 cents sometime this week.
Yeah. Citadel is in this.
Yeah. And DPLS. Have you heard me talk about dark pulse?
No.
It's a micro penny, and I'm talking 0.00005. But the government hired them to go and put battery charging sensors along all the highways in the United States, so that when you're driving your car charges. The electric fence that is invisible, that is going on the Mexico-US border, DPLS created that. They've also created the technology for the drones, when the drones facial recognize, then shoot you in the head and your head explodes. That's their technology. And the reason DPLS is still in the OTC market, and Dennis O'Leary is their CEO, which I love that guy, but he said he got into some toxic financing with two institutions, and the interest rates are insane. And in order to get that money, he had to guarantee them a certain amount of shares every year so that they could collect it. And the shares that he sells to them are like at 28 cents is what the value is, where the stock is a micro penny. But with all these government contracts, with being able to energize all the highways so you don't have to go to a charging station, that was a $680 billion project that the government's giving them.
I don't know if
So
Citadel.
it's going to go up.
So,
You don't know if Citadel.
well,
Go
it
ahead.
says they increased their portfolio of Xela by 100% on December 31st, 2022. But there's almost, there's 94, well, actually, no, there's way more. There's like 75% of institutions decreased their position since February 2nd of this year, and only 25% increased their position.
So the institutions are not thinking they're going to make money on it long term.
There's people that have bought, there's institutions that have bought. In fact, Shea Capital on February 2nd increased portfolio by 175%, and now they own 6% of the entire company.
Do they have voting rights?
I'm going to look at percent. They have the most owned of the company.
Nice. I'd like to be on that board of directors.
Citadel only owns 0.04%.
So they bought enough to short, so they could pass out the shorting.
Maybe.
See, and that's the one thing I wish there was a way of telling with the volume if it's going long or if it's for shorting. And I've heard rumor that it's in the level 3, but I can't find it anywhere in the level 3.
The only way to know is to look at the divergence. Like, so we know that the volume, there was buying in February, and that's what the majority of the volume was, because it should have if the volume was increasing of selling, then it should have increasingly gone down from January 23rd to the 30th. It should have gone down faster and faster as the volume was increasing, but it
Right.
didn't. It actually went down at a consistent rate. So there was hidden buyers there, which reflect it because it did increase in price after that back to about 8 cents. But now it's different. Now since the beginning of February, the volume's been decreasing as it's been going down. So you could be right. Now could be the time to get in, if anything. But this one just has me stumped. Why there's all this volume? Basically, it's inefficient. Basically, the volume is there, but it's not increasingly going down. So there is buyers here, and there is hidden buyers. So whatever happened
Right.
on January 10th was huge because this all happened after January 10th. So we just to know really, you just gotta look at what institutions bought on the 10th, or
Are you looking at that right now?
I'm trying to find it, but the only most recent one that's displayed for me is that Shea Capital bought on February 2nd.
So they got insider news about the 10th, and they bought ahead of time. That's pretty
Well,
smart.
they bought after the fact. They bought on February 2nd. The news was January 10th.
Oh, I thought it was February 10th.
Yeah, but the price did move pretty good after they bought for a couple days. So,
That and that's the one thing I think Wall Street didn't count on. Some of that is going to be us retail traders.
mhm.
They the professional stockbrokers thought that retail traders would be a joke, and then GameStop happened.
Right.
So and then when you're looking at it, usually retail traders own more of the float than any of the professional traders.
Yeah.
So, and everyone gets together like with the Wall Street Bets group and they go on stock twits and they all have these different chat rooms and they all try to attack one stock at the same time.
Mhm.
And in that situation, the institutions can't do anything because they don't have enough buying and selling power because they're out of shares.
Yeah.
So, I guess my whole point in saying that is that could be why you're not seeing a lot in the price movement. It might be retail traders just adding some shares, uh, and then in order for the price to move, are they buying at the bid? Are they buying at the ask? Are they somewhere in the middle? Like all of that comes into play, which is where the way you look at volume comes in handy because you're like, okay, stock's 5 cents. Somebody's got an order in for 10,000 shares at 4 cents. And
Right.
then you look, well, someone's trying to sell 10,000 shares at 8 cents. So it kind of gives you an idea of where the volume is headed to. But I
Right.
think a big thing with Xela, I think the retail traders are fucking it up because they jump in blindly. Most retail traders are momentum traders. And so when they see a stock move up a little bit and it comes across their scanner, they blindly just jump in and use all their money and they buy that fucking stock. And then once the stock starts dipping and not running, they freak the fuck out and then they sell it.
Yeah.
But you have the diamond hands guys, which is your Wall Street bets community, which has what 2.4 million members or something.
Mhm.
They buy shit and just hold it. So I think retail traders are fucking that up. And then you add a little bit of shorting to it. Oh, let's look at how much shorting is being done. All right.
But anyways, everything basically says hidden buyers right now is what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree with you. Are you in it or are you just
No,
following it?
I got in it uh you know, as for conviction. I didn't get it for confirmation. I got it as conviction because I saw it. I said, "Oh my God, this is gonna move," and then it broke my support. I said, you know, I'll just wait until I actually get confirmation on it now. So that
And
was
when
actually that was when I was buying, like, I bought Bed Bath Beyond. I bought a bunch, and then I realized I was trading on tilt, and then I cleaned up my whole portfolio and I paid myself and said, okay, I'm done for this next week. So this was one that I tossed, and I'm glad I did because it was a impulsive buy. Because even though you see these hidden buyers and volume divergence and inefficiency like that, it doesn't mean the timing's right. It just means that
right,
you're on the right track and that this is now on high watch. So this and Boyle are both of my two plays right now. The only ones that I can think of, other than Tesla short, these are the only ones I can
I'm
think of
telling
right
you,
now.
you're playing with fire, short and Tesla.
I don't even know if I'm gonna continue to short that. Here, give me 1 second. I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah, you're good, brother. I watched all the performances from Sunday when I was laying in bed last night on YouTube. There's some good singers. Yeah, I almost watched this morning. That's funny. It's really good though. Did I see that John Legend left The Voice? Wow, who's the guy that replaced him? Chance. That's who it is. Niles on there? I just discovered him and I thought he was new because one of my friends sent me a video and they're like, check out this guy. You're going to love this song. It just came out. And then you were like, yeah, that's like 6 years old. But I may be behind the times, but damn, he's good. Okay.